All right, everybody, this is a warning to all politicians running for president 2024. We'll call this part 126. So I don't know if you can make it out there. There's one of those big solar farms with the tower in the center, and there's three big areas out here. If you go north up 15, the other side of Vegas, they've put in a whole bunch more. I mean, I don't know how many acres it is, but it goes on for quite a while out there. And I'm not sure, but I'm willing to bet that it's not private investment, a power company or something putting all the money up. I would wager that there's a good amount of government money going into it. And if you think about it, you pass all that and everything, you look and you go, you know, where's the environmentalists all on this? The talking about the damage to the habitats of so many creatures out there in the desert. You know, there's areas, you know, around the country and stuff. You know, you can't get a permit to build a building or anything like that. I'll tell you, it's because of the habitat of this creature or that creature. Now, these things here have been passing all in Nevada. I haven't seen much of anything like this in California. Although those, because I'm at the state line now, those might be on the California side. I'm not sure. But, you know, there's plenty of incidents. You know, you can look at where they've stopped an industry from doing something because they decided, you know, hey, we've got an endangered species there or something. If you remember in Arizona, up in the Kaibab National Forest area there, they shut down whole logging operations because of a spotted owl. And in California, they've got turned off water flowing to Southern California because of some fish or something in the water system in Northern California that's endangered or something. But you gotta wonder, where's all the environmentalists on all the land? You know, you're putting thousands upon thousands of these solar panels out there. And these ones here, you know, they all point towards that center tower there. And if a bird flies through it, they're vaporized automatically. I mean, you know, the worker, there was a documentary, I don't know, they probably buried it now, but the workers would tell you, you know, you just see a big puff of smoke in the air and realize a bird just got vaporized. And those wind turbines, you know, they kill birds. So what about all the endangered birds of prey in this country that we've fought so hard to protect? You know, ban the use of certain chemicals, ban the you know, logging or other things. All of a sudden, now it's all right to kill the birds. So, talking about the government money and stuff that has to be going into this is really amazing to me that, you know, the Antifa people and all these people are on the same side, because what you have when you have government subsidies, you know, they say they're against fascism. Duh. Regular capitalism, private investment and everything, that's not fascism. Fascism's when the government is linked to industry and all their cronies. That's crony capitalism, is your fascism. All the people, you know, these projects would not work on their own with private investment, many of them, because of their expense and because of how little electricity they do generate. The cost of that electricity, you know, your electric bills would have to go way up to make all this feasible on its own without taxpayer money. So you know, Joe Blow comes and says, hey, give me a $100 million and I'll build all these green energy places or whatever, and he's cronied with these politicians and lining their pockets, and so they grant him the money, and hey, anybody could be successful that way. Give me a few $billion and I'll have, where I can just jump in with the big boys and compete with all the large trucking companies in this country, and I'll have one humdinger of a trucking company. Guaranteed money. That'll bring private investment, even more money into it. And that's who will get rich, is the investors and the head people and the politicians involved in it. That's your fascism. When government links up with industry like that, and you gotta look, all these solar panels and stuff and everything, they can be damaged by storms, what have you, anything. They're gonna have to be replaced at some time. So there's ongoing costs. Look how much land they're taking, how much habitat from the desert wildlife they're taking, how many birds are dying. Land that you would probably say, no, you can't farm that land. That's habitat of such and such a creature. No, you can't build houses there. No, you can't put that factory. That's habitat. But if it's for this, because of the cronyism and the powers that be are going to get loaded off it, everyone turns a blind eye to all that stuff. One nuclear power plant would take up, less than a tenth of the land that I've seen used for all these solar panels here, just coming down I-15. Probably even less than that. Probably less than a fifth of the land. And probably provide 10 times the amount of power. I don't know what the exact numbers are now, or what the cost of a nuclear power plant is to build, and what the cost per kilowatt hour would be for the electricity going out of it and everything, if it could supply all of Vegas or what. But you gotta look for high tech solutions. You're not going to power the world or save the planet with solar and wind energy. It's just not going to happen. And for people to be selling you on this dream, it's really a shame. It's really, just a shame what's going on. And what if next year, MIT or one of these, JPL, somebody, whoever's looking into new energy is coming, because they're doing all kinds of stuff with lasers, splitting atoms and different materials, and creating energy. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So say in next year they unlock all that, and hey, look at this. We got an abundance of power, cheap power, all this and everything. What's going to happen with all these solar places? To be able to compete with that, either they're going to have to block that new technology, or to compete with it, they're going to require more of your tax dollars to stay afloat. Or they're going to have to go under. And then they're going to scream they want protection. They can't have all, they're, too big to fail. Too big to fail. They can't lose all the money, all those investors and everything. All of a sudden something new comes along, and all the money they invested in all this solar stuff and everything goes down the tube. They lose their asses. And then what are you going to do with all these places? Who's going to go clean up all these solar places? What are you going to do with all these panels and everything? And reclaim the land? Who's going to pay for all of that if they come up with some new kind of energy? It's just a crying shame. It really is. When you see how corrupt things are and backwards thinking people are, it's just a crying shame what's going on. It really is. We should be putting more money into advanced energy technologies, not going backwards to windmills. Just because you call them wind turbines, they're a windmill. So I hope people out there understand. You understand this stuff. I know you're getting, it's a fascist. Everything's fascist. The corporations, and if it's private investment and a business and capitalism, that's a good thing. It's when everything is rigged and there's subsidies and stuff like that. That's your fascism. You know, and you look at all the electric cars and stuff like that, and you know, people getting subsidies for that and everything like this, and it's like, really? Have we thought this through? All those batteries and everything there's going to be, which led me to be thinking, instead of these people buying electric cars that they drive all day and then have to go home and plug in to the electric grid, which uses fossil fuels primarily to get the electric to power the cars back up. What if you take your gas burning car, right? And as you drive around, you go to work or you do whatever like that, it has some of these high-tech battery systems in it, right? But instead of them powering the car, your car is generating electricity, putting them into these batteries. And when you go home, you plug your car into your house, but it's not to get energy, it's to deposit all the energy that you generated driving home from work into the electrical system of your house. You have some batteries in your house, you're out driving your car around all day, whatever, you come home, you plug it in, there you go. You don't need no electric bill no more. You just generated your own electricity driving around, and you plug into your house and charge your house batteries up. Or you at least got a super reduced electric bill. Has anybody thought of that? I'm not sure of the technology, how much electricity you could store driving around your daily errands and going back and commuting back and forth to work. And, you know, if that'd be enough to power your house for a day. I guess it depends on how much electricity you use in your home. How about that? How about you wire your whole house, it's wired for 12 volt, you put 12 volt batteries in there, you charge up 12 volt batteries or something while you're driving around, and you just discharge that electricity into your house when you get home at the end of your day. Instead of plugging in your car to charge up your car, you're plugging in your house to charge up your house. How about that? Anybody thought of that? I don't know. Crazy idea. I get them sometimes. I don't know. And I'm sure I'm not the first. But I've never heard of anybody talking about it. But how about that? While you're out driving around, you're charging up some batteries. You get home, you plug your car into your house. You charge up your whole house. How about that? Maybe we could do away with all of those out there. Maybe that would work. I don't know. But going back to the money thing and rewarding people, you know, like I said, and getting off of all this welfare. You know, approximately 4 million people are born in this country every year. And either you do, or the government takes $10,000, $20,000, whatever, assigns it to that kid's social security number. It goes in a locked investment account, and when that kid graduates, you know, there'll be stipulations. Kid graduates high school, everything like that, boom, whatever's in there the kid gets. Or you just make it to where, you know, every kid that graduates high school, you know, I said 50,000, or you, when they're 21, they get the 50,000, but they have to graduate at high school or whatever. So maybe they graduate high school, you give them 10 grand. When they turn 21, you give them the other 40 grand or something. Or maybe you even add to that, hey, if you can complete some type of schooling, a trade schooling or something. And that's another thing with these student loans. Are there any stipulations on these loans, these people that don't want to pay them, or the people that are promising to pay them back, are they classified as what's useful and what's not useful? I mean, because if we're giving student loans to people to go and study crap so that they can get grants later to study CalFarts and shit like that and write books and that's all they're ever going to do is produce, their words on paper about crap that's useless to everybody. Why are we paying for it? It'd be much better, the world can't exist without welders. Why don't we pay for everybody's welding school who wants to go to welding or truck driving or farming or, what have you? Instead of paying for all these people to go get useless degrees and then they can't find a job in that field. There ought to be some kind of, deal with the giving out of the money. Is it a useful field or not a useful field? Is there a high demand for that occupation? Or somebody with that type of degree, is there a high demand for that? Like engineering, physics, something? Is there a high demand for it? Because if there ain't a high demand, we're not going to loan you out a bunch of money to go get a degree in something that's not going to benefit anybody. Excuse me. So, but maybe you even you could add, hey, you finish high school, you get 10 grand. You finish some kind of trade school or something, you get 20, 30 grand, whatever. Or we just do it the 50 grand. Like I said, $200 billion versus $1 trillion a year in welfare stuff. You'd free up all that money to pay your teachers better, to pay your police better. Plus if every city council, every state government should have to post the salaries and the benefits that everybody who collects a state check gets, and the federal government should have to do it too. You got people in city councils becoming millionaires. They're supposed to be public servants serving the city. They're becoming millionaires. All kinds of benefits, all kinds of shit. And some of them, like I said, that went up there in Minneapolis talking about, it's time for, a socialist economy and this and that. And well, I bet your ass he wasn't socialist when he was job hunting. He looked for where he can make the most money in that type of position in a city council and who had the best benefits and everything. I guarantee you. But that's the way the fascist system's going to work, and the socialist system's going to work. They're going to say, we're going to put everybody on parity. Everybody's going to make the same money and be on parity and equality. It'll be so wonderful. The kid flipping hamburgers at McDonald's is going to make the same amount of money as some guy freezing his ass off out, putting in a pipeline somewhere, or a truck driver that's, away from home 6 weeks at a time. That'll be just so wonderful for everybody. And they're still going to make the big money in their city councils and all the holders in subsidized things like solar power and everything else like that. Will you please wake up, America? Please. Get your heads out of your asses. And trying to talk to some of these people. Have you ever seen any of those documentaries where they try and deprogram somebody that's been in a cult? Or even in like a socialism or communist type thing. People come from those, they're so immersed in it. That's what the Marxists did with the revolution in Russia and everything. The people, their henchmen that went out and killed millions of civilians were dumb as a box of rocks. And all the people, all the orchestrators and stuff and everything didn't put their lives on the line. They found dummies, just like now you see all these people inciting people to go and riot in the streets and loot and doing all everything like that. And the people who mull it over and even kind of endorse it, or these Hollywood leftists and stuff, sitting up in their mansions. They're not risking their ass. They're not risking going to prison and all this. They get all these tweakers out in the streets doing the dirty work. Same thing happened in Russia. Don't they teach history? Don't they teach who the butchers have been? You know, Bin Laden didn't go out and kill people. He sent people. It's the same thing, whether it's in religion or some socialist ideology or some, you know, what was that, Heaven's Gate cult or whatever. People are brainwashed. And when you try and talk to them, if you ever watch some things where they try and deprogram somebody that's been heavily immersed in this stuff, they'll almost go mad, because everything that they believe is so ingrained into them and everything that when you try and show them, you know, reality, their minds can't handle it. Some of them go into madness, some of them on the verge of madness. And you throw in drug use, and you throw in, you know, the hypnotic messages and stuff like that in movies and music and everything like this, as in popular culture, and into impressionable minds, and you throw in drug use, and even, you know, you tell somebody, hey, no, it's not like that, man. That ain't how our society is. You can, you know, you're not being oppressed. You know, you can go out and strive and do something. You know, they're just, you know, it's like, take somebody who follows Farrakhan devoutly. What he says is the truth, period. That's, you can't talk to them and show them anything else, even from mainstream Islam. You know, you can't go and tell them, hey, look, that's not what the Prophet taught. It's happened in Christianity too, everything. But anyhow, looking at like I said, we get rid of all this welfare and everything. You set up all the parameters for these programs, and then they got to be stuck to, because, like I said, you know, say one of the stipulations is you got to graduate high school or whatever. Well, either they're going to graduate people or you know, people will not graduate. And then they'll say, oh, the system is slanted, this and that. You know, you got to give them the money anyway. Or they'll just start passing a bunch of people. It's like back in the 80s when they said, you know, the SATs were racist. The question, the math and everything, how's math racist? But that it was unfair to black people because they couldn't identify with the questions on the SATs. So you'll have more of that same shit. You'll have people try and whittle in these excuses. It's all right, you didn't graduate high school, here you go. You got 6 months to go and pass all the exams, and then you'll get your money. What have you. You know, because you know, they'll either just start passing them all automatically, or somebody will come up with some kind of shit. Well, this is racist, and you know, you know, black people aren't going to pass those, graduate from high school. How are they ever going to get that money? You'll hear more and more stuff like that. So you know, you'll have to have, because you can take something, start it out, and it'd be a good program. And then you have people start messing with it and mess it all up, and then it's just this big dependency crap again. You know, but I wanted to, you know, go over that and point out, you know, the savings and the money could be spent in other things, like for teachers and everything. I mean, $200 billion compared to over $1 trillion a year. Like I said before, what a bargain. You're gonna like it, sweetie. What a bargain. Very, very good. You see. Anyhow, you know, and all the numbers and stuff have to be worked out. And I said, you know, other stipulations that'll have to be, you know, put in line with immigration and immigrants, and who, you know, this is for American citizens. You know, will make life easier and more attractive for those who are doing good, and will make, you know, if you're going to go on the wrong side of a good life and be involved in crime and dealing drugs and all those, we're going to make all that very unattractive. So anyone with a half a wit will say, let me see. I graduate school and do this and that. I can get a job, a career, and all this. And if I choose path B, I don't get squat and I go in and out of jail and they're going to have a 2 strikes out thing and bzzz, we don't need you no more. Bzzz. Make it very easy for people to choose what kind of life they want to have. And then you reward the people who make the right choices. So I wanted to go over something else too. I was talking about, having driver's licenses. Why do we have to go to motor vehicle all the time or renew our licenses and stuff? And you don't forget how to drive. I'm forgetting rid of all kinds of bureaucracy that we don't need. But I was thinking again today, even your car registration. Your car is registered to you in your name. So unless you sell it again or scrap it, why should you have to renew a registration or anything, or your tags? And then again, why not just make the VIN number of every car the license plate? You understand? And why even if you move from state to state, do you have to renew your license in that state? Are you going to forget how to drive when you get to that state? Well, see, they want the address and the picture and stuff and everything. Well, your picture will just stay with your license and you can update it anyhow. And you can even change you'll be able to go and change your own address and everything. But honestly, I guess for accidents or something, if there's a cop needing to write a report, he's going to need addresses and things like that. But as far as your vehicle, it's registered to your name. Why does that have to have your address on it? Why isn't that good everywhere? Why would you have to renew that when you go to a different state? You should pay for the registration of that vehicle to your name one time and never have to deal with it again unless you sell the car or scrap it. You see what I'm saying? We've come to accept a lot of things and not think them through and say, wait a minute. Why do I have to keep doing this? Let's find all the little things we can, whittle down. And I was thinking too, why the registration thing and the plates and everything all the time? Well, typically, I don't know if they still do, but weren't license plates all made in the prisons? So I'm sure a long time ago, somebody said, hey, these we do these license plates and everything, and we'll have the convicts make them, and you pay us X amount of dollars, and we'll have the convicts make them, and we'll supply the license plates to the state. Some go between the prisons and the motor vehicle or whatever. So I'm sure it's some lucrative contract shit that has to do with all that. That, hey, if you only got to do it one time, they ain't going to make as much money. You understand? The state's not going to make as much money. And guess what? Then you can get rid of all those state employees and motor vehicle and everything, and you're not going to have these big bloated pensions you got to deal with all the time. So, that's probably the same with pictures on driver's license, really, too. Somebody said, you know what? Well, it'd be a good idea. Some guy had a photography shop. When they first state started issuing licenses and stuff. I don't know when they started putting photos on them, but I can see some guys sitting around. You know what? If you made it law where everyone had to put their picture on there, they'd have to come and get their photo taken. Something like that. It's always linked to some crap like that. Always. Is how it starts. Somebody's getting paid is how it usually starts. Something else they can tax you on or charge you on. Another hoop they can make you jump through. So that'll be part of my administration should this ever go through. God help us all. And, to find the things we can make simpler. And with the registration thing and everything and making the VIN, just the VIN number is your plate number forever. Every car has a VIN number. But I said way back in one of the ones I was doing, I was talking about crime and stuff. And they were showing all the looting and people running and jumping in their cars and taking off and everything. All these light poles and everything around there. If there was just some kind of scanner that all it did was register. If every vehicle has a VIN, you put an electronic thing on every car. These scanners read them. They collect the data, they hold the data for 72 hours, then they dump it. If something happens in that area, right, the cops go, they get a court order, they say, we want to see the scanner data for the past, 48 hours or whatever. They pull it up, they see whose vehicles are there, then they have some place to start with, and go check out, Well, how about the same thing? Your VIN, your car is registered to you, right? So I also talked about, I want the kit cop car. It's going to have the cop's going to have nothing to do with this. This will get rid of racial profiling. The thing's going to be on automatic, just scanning every vehicle that's around it. Car in front of them's, listed as stolen. That'll come up. The thing will read the electronic VIN. That's listed as stolen. Hey, there's a car going the other way that went just as well by. It's got a VIN. It's registered to a guy who's a wanted criminal. He's wanted. This type of thing. Not where they can just, it'll be the automated system that decides who the cop checks out. So that'll get rid of your racial profiling that everyone always claims. You understand? We need to find new and innovative ways and technologies and stuff, and you're not going to get that with solar and wind turbines. And you're not going to get that by legalizing. You're not going to get better society by legalizing drugs and stuff. They still got to pay for the damn drugs. Other crimes are going to go up. Plus, you're gonna ruin people's lives. So, what do y'all think about that? So, what do you think about driving your car around and then going home and plugging into your house and charging your house up? Anybody thought of that? Would that work? Is there any way that would work? I don't know. I'm going to look into that some more. Anyway, wish you all the best out there. Have a good one. And we'll catch you on the next one. Adios.